What do you think about Hasbro stock?
I try not to.
Well, I'm waiting until it hits about 48, 45.
How low do you think you can go, Saint?
I think it has to break sub 50 to be in a realistic territory so that they can pay for their sins. We have a spicy Fabled Hunters episode lined up for you, but first, we'd like to ask you for your support.
We're asking for your support for our Patreon for Fabled Hunters. That also goes to support our team, FaBled Runaways.
Fabled Runaways.
We just had a huge score this national season.
You don't say!
We're the U.S. national champs.
Thanks to Charles Dunn of the Fabled Runaways. We had 4 out of 8, 50% of the top 8.
And Singapore.
Singapore, because of Gordon Coe. Let's go, Gordon Coe! We're finally making a name for ourselves, and we appreciate everybody's support.
If you want to check out our Patreon, we'll include a link in the description below. For $5 a month, you get access to our, at this point, pretty extensive backlog of videos. We also come out with 2 videos at least every month that talk about personal finances and also the mindset of how to win.
All the proceeds will go to Yanji and the Runaways. I'm not keeping any of it. I'm also giving my own contribution outside of this channel. So please join us on this journey and let's go Runaways, everybody. All right. Welcome to FaBled Hunters.
I'm Yanji.
I'm Saint.
And we're back at it with another episode of last month.
Last month today, just in time for a brief recap of the world in TCGs.
Yeah, so actually quite a lot of interesting things happened. Let's go over the non-flesh and blood stuff first.
You don't say. A lot of interesting things.
Yeah. Here's one that you might not have known about. So they host Gen Con every year in the summer in Indianapolis.
I heard of it. I know some of the founders.
Yeah, and it's this huge convention. If you haven't been there, I encourage you to go. At least once in your life. It's a really fun time. So at Gen Con, there's always a lot of high-profile vendors where they're selling various card games.
Okay. There's some drama in the Facebooks and other interweb pages that are saying Flesh and Blood should be at Gen Con. Why aren't they at Gen Con? There's a lot of chatter about that.
I think that they should be at Gen Con, at least in some capacity. I think that
they had the auction that year, didn't they?
Yeah.
A charity auction.
I think doing a demo there would be pretty cool.
Okay.
Like demoing some, like blitz decks or whatever.
Oh, like the professor items. If they have like another Rhinar versus Dorinthia or like the professor item or like PvE, that'd be great.
Yeah, getting people who are TCG adjacent, because a lot of people go there for like board games or for other stuff. Getting them, it's a lot of people. Flesh and Blood is a lot of people's first TCG. Surprisingly.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You
We got a lot of Patreons that say that too.
Yeah, so it can't hurt to get more eyeballs on the game. But this is quite an interesting development. So at Gen Con, apparently, so all the vendors have their booths and set up, and like people I think leave their wares there overnight because it's like a hassle to like.
Oh, the guys with the pallets.
Yeah, so
the jack-offs.
Yeah, so like 2 guys just like came in. I don't know. They just like had like the pallet, like the loader.
The pallet jack, yeah.
Yeah, and then they just like went in at night, loaded the pallets and walked away.
And they were caught on camera.
Yeah, and like nothing happened. $300,000 worth of goods stolen, and I just wanted to bring it up because it's been apparently resolved. The case has been.
Well, it's $300,000 at MTG, right?
I think it's like MTG and other.
Oh, really?
And other stuff.
Oh, okay.
But apparently the case got resolved, so authorities in Indiana worked. Apparently the stolen goods were found, guess where? In New York City.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So...
they found the $300K worth of crap in New York City. But Gen Con's, what, in
Indiana?
Indiana?
Yeah.
So that's quite a ways away. How do they transport that much crap?
I don't know. Maybe they also brought a truck with them, but in any case, the issue has been resolved. I just thought there was like a pretty funny story.
Well, the perpetrators were caught, and they were working the event, and they're probably doing time now because that's like super duper grand larceny or something like that, right?
Yep. So I don't know, guys. Don't steal
$300,000 worth of Magic product.
Don't just don't steal in general.
Because it's only like $30,000 after you open it up anyway. So
you wanted to talk about the Hasbro earnings call, I think.
Yep. That was really early on in the month, and I talked about it at the last month.
Yeah.
Basically, it was a call where Chris Cox was, falling in love with the sound of his own voice and trying to tell people how great he was for buying a movie studio called, I believe, E1 for $4 billion.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about this.
And then he's like, oh, but we generated $500 million in our sales. And we also lost about $250 million in making Dungeons and Dragons with the, development and the shooting and the marketing. So in total, Chris Cox was trying to gaslight investors that it was a great move, losing $3.75 billion in buying a movie studio, tanking the movie studio, making a bullshit movie that people weren't interested in watching, and then selling it back for literally 1/8 of the price, and telling everybody how great of a quarter that Hasbro had.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they lost about $1.85 per share. So there's literally no price over earnings ratio because there's no earnings. Yet, after the gaslighting, the stock shot up to like 67.5. I'll be honest, I wanted to sell at 69 just for the memes.
Yeah.
But I got out dollar cost average at about $67 because I just, whatever. I'll take a $21.50 return over 6 months on a $47 cost basis.
Oh, that's really good.
It's not bad, but more importantly, it was the gaslighting and just, Hasbro doing Hasbro things, lying to investors and basically trying to just, BS their way out. And for some reason, the stock, as of the filming of this video, is at about $72.50.
Yeah.
I don't at all regret, not being there for the $5 of upside. And I'm not saying I would proactively short the stock. I'm just apathetic to it.
Yeah.
And I don't believe when Chris Cox is saying that, a universe is beyond, like Doctor Who, is going to sell anywhere near Lord of the Rings. I just think that Lord of the Rings hit, if they manage to still, lose a couple $1 billion in the past year, and Lord of the Rings was something like 200 plus million in sales.
Yeah.
I really don't see it. I don't see a formula where Hasbro turns it around off of, Peppa Pig and Transformers, right? And Magic the Gathering. I just don't see it. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm out. I mean, for those reasons, I'm out. I've literally rid myself of all of my holdings, and I'm happy with my 45% return.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we won't have to do any more financial disclosures.
No more financial disclosures about Hasbro. I'll just go back to talking smack about them because I don't have a dog in the fight anymore.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job with Commander Masters of, tanking the card values, and it's just really sad what's happening to vintage MTG. Prices dropping by 50 to, honestly, some assets are dropping towards 80%. It's in a bad spot right now. So, yeah, let's just move on.
Wanted to talk about the release of Lorcana. So, it's been a tumultuous release. There's been a lot of uncertainty with the lawsuit that was going on. But it has finally hit store shelves in not only LGS's, but also, like Target, Walmart's, etc.
And, I'm hearing that there are people literally going in, and because there's no outer seal in these Lorcana first chapter boxes, that they're literally plucking out all the packs from the boxes because, again, there's no protection, there's no outer seal. You just go boop, spread the little flap, boop, and then start taking packs of Lorcana out, and it becomes free Lorcana packs. I'm not condoning it at all. That's called, theft. But these packs can be stolen. These packs are not secure. These boxes, you don't know if there's supposed to be 36 packs, if you're actually getting 36 packs.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're being restocked with like G.I. Joe cards or like Lion King cards that are like 99 cents a pack.
I wanted to come at it from another angle as well. Definitely, I think that there are maybe some, let's call it inexperiences.
Okay.
That Ravensburger is dealing with. Like, they're not a company that has rolled out TCGs.
To say the least.
In the past. One positive that I did want to point out is that it seems that the organic demand for the product is quite high.
Yep. I won't deny that. The fact that there's like an Elsa card, a Chase card for like $600, and like there was supposed to be a first printing, but now there's something like 4 or 5 printings of the first chapter, and there's that much demand. It just tells me that, they're idiotic parents that will pay anything to make their kids happy. And it also tells me that this is probably not collectible because there's no scarcity there.
Yeah.
And not only that, did you hear about Maki-gate?
No, what's this?
Where Mickey Mouse, the original promo card from Lorcana,
oh, yes,
they came out with a Maki, which is like a fake, fraudulent version of Mickey.
Yeah.
Except the Mickey that was recognized and authenticated by companies like PSA and BGS.
Yeah.
The real cards were of an inferior print quality than the Maki cards.
Well, I heard also that there were maybe like several printings of this promo.
Yep.
And the grading companies actually had to pause submissions because they were registering authentic cards as, being fraudulent.
Yeah, because the better printed card is actually the fraudulent version or the unregistered version, because it's, as of my knowledge, as of right now, it hasn't been verified, but there's a rumor going on that I believe the printers are from China, and we all know, us Americans, if you read the news or, haven't been living under a rock for the past 20 years, know how China, how seriously they take, intellectual property protection. And it is said that the same factory that printed Lorcana for Ravensburger is printing these even higher end iterations of the promo. So
maybe they're doing Ravensburger a solid and getting the cards into the hands of the people.
Yeah, they're just this limited run of their first Mickey. They're doing the community a service and just releasing these fake, really, really high definition proxies. Because presumably you'd have to be the same printer to print the same card, but even better with higher resolution.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's literally what's going on between these Mickeys and Makis. And that's already another nail in the coffin for Lorcana as a collectible, in my opinion. The fact that PSA and BGS has backed off. CGC, I hear they'll grade anything, and we'll come up with a video one day after we gather a compendium or an encyclopedia of all their fraudulent grifter bullshit. But yes, the two main actual companies grading Lorcana have backed away. So yeah, that's a big red flag.
Yeah. If nothing else, I hope that the kids of the parents that are irresponsible and buying their kids bullcrap, learn to love TCGs and
maybe. That was always your thesis, but yo, Yanji, let's just call a spade a spade. It's a shit show right now.
Sure.
It's a fucking shit show. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the optimist.
Okay.
Here.
We'll see. Just since Lorcana's a Disney product.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that are like, oh, Disney can't go under $90, and then Disney can't go under $85. And literally a couple days ago, Disney was at $80.69, and their woke bullshit isn't even near done yet. So I don't know. Disney to the floor. I'll be looking at them in like the low 70s or high 60s probably.
Yeah.
I made the call about WotC going down to under 48.
Sure.
And guess what? It happened.
Yeah.
And guess what? I profited off of it. So Rudy says stay away from Lorcana. He's one of the most influential TCG content creators. I second that notion that we should stay away from Lorcana. And I'm just staying away from anything Disney until, the ship is, righted. And we're really far off course right now. Not financial advice.
Yeah, of course. Last bit of non-flesh and blood related news. Looks like Whatnot has gone into some hot water. With regulatory agencies.
I've heard that Whatnot is getting sued and it's getting picked apart and it's ultimately imploding. I've also heard that the benefactors of this implosion are parties such as eBay Live, parties such as Fanatics Gaming, Golden Auctions, which is I think owned by PSA. Basically, everybody other than Whatnot are licking their chops and jumping up and down, waiting for Whatnot to be buried 6 feet under, and it's presumably happening.
Yeah, you know, when I was first told about the website, it was actually from a friend who had just like gone back into collecting Pokemon cards.
Yep.
After the COVID boom, and you know, some of the stuff that he was telling me about Whatnot in terms of like the prices that people were able to like sell their product at, or like all of this stuff, like to me as somebody who's been more experienced in TCGs, a lot of it just seemed like it was like there's no way, like too good to be true.
There's a little bit of bubble territory and just ultra hype and people just competing against each other and maybe fake bids and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like something seemed like a part of it seemed like too good to be true. Then you get like all the stories of like that Giants player who was like scamming, ex-Giants player who was like scamming people out of cards. And I don't know what the whole story with that is. I'm going to err on the side of, usually I attribute more towards people being incompetent rather than malicious.
Are hiding hits. There's probably a double-digit percentage of the breakers doing malicious things or being accused of doing malicious things. Yeah. But I think ultimately what is bringing down the platform is that they're being demonized and vilified as a platform for gambling. So gambling is what is really getting the feds involved. And it also sounds like Whatnot does not have the legal experience or the legal wherewithal to fight back these accusations or allegations. Not enough lobbyists, not enough time, not enough cash to burn. And they're ultimately just, the shit is hitting the fan and it's going south real quick. And that should spill over into a topic we're familiar about, right, Yanji?
Well, continuing on this, there's a certain store of living cards.
Living cards? Yeah. Card shop dead, soon to be dead?
Yeah, that apparently is like one of the major, calling them a victim or you don't have to call them a victim.
I don't want to call them a victim. I mean,
they're what's the opposite of
they were con artists. They were con artists and perpetrators since day one. And although I started FaBled Hunters about a story of buying 100 cases of Welcome to Wraith and whatnot, the truth is that the founder of Card Shop Live, formerly Channel Fireball, John Sasso, he reneged on another 50 cases, which got sold to my friend in Asia because he basically went back on a verbal agreement and charged my friend in our mutual colleague in Asia a much higher premium because he will screw anybody over for $1, and that was just a pattern. That was a pattern with what happened with Monarch, where Channel Fireball at the time wanted to boost up their revenue numbers because they were imminently about to sell to TCG Player, and they lied to the public about how much product there was of Monarch and how short printed it was, and then raised Monarch First Edition up to $500-600 a box. Then they did the same thing with Tales of Aria. There's not very much Tales of Aria, and charged I think $150 to $200. And then around 2021, U.S. Nationals dumped something like 4,000 cases under MAP, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they were like bargain binning. Like it was. Yeah. I think at some point, like I think the cost average for these boxes you get for like
$70, $75.
No, it was less than that. Like if you buy their bundles, I think it was.
Around
$50.
That was after. That was right before. That was 2022.
Oh, okay.
Right before the first Pro Tour in New Jersey, where they were literally risking the livelihood of Flesh and Blood and Legend Story Studios. They were disrupting the global set prices by essentially, again, breaking MAP and using, a tongue-in-cheek way of bundling in, let's say, like 2 products. Like at the time it was, I think, Everfest and Aria were MAP, and then everything else is free. You could have, WTR, Arcane, Crew Unlimited,
for free.
and Monarch Unlimited for free, but you're just paying normal price. And it came out to like $43 a box, and for a good 3 months, hundreds of local game stores were unable to actually make sales because they were being undercut so hard by Channel Fireball that
And they were just
they were unable to sell anything.
Yeah. So
and
they are the not beneficiary of the whatnot.
Well, not only that. I mean, 2022 in August, a lot of people don't know this, but it's they made a GameSpot article about it. The founders of Channel Fireball, John Sasso, Machi Scanlon, Joshua Grant, they started a company called FaBled Studios, a software company that basically did crypto, and they created a crypto game called Untamed Isles. Just perfectly in the summer of 2022, when crypto was crashing, and they raised over $800,000 on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I mean, these are people that rug pulled nearly everybody, including myself and some of my colleagues, and lied to the public about MAP, lied to LSS about their contracts, lied to even MetaZoo. They even fucked over MetaZoo and lost their contract with MetaZoo. So of course they rug pulled the public for over $800,000 in a Kickstarter and burned millions of dollars of their own money. And I mean, on top of that, I was supposed to be involved in a deal, but they ultimately used my bid to compete with, private equity company to sell to TCG player, wasted tens of thousands of dollars of legal fees, wasted, plenty of time. They're just fucking time wasters and a bunch of grifters. Oh, and not only that, end of 2021, they had joined into and signed specific contracts to handle PCG, the grading company PCG US.
Yeah.
And for a good half of 2022, the reason why I was uncomfortable even promoting PCG US was because these fucking grifters were misgrading the cards proactively and misrepresenting what they were doing. Literally, the founders of PCG flew in to San Jose to run Worlds and run a PCG booth, and meanwhile, Sasso and his goons were in the back grading Dynasty before and breaking Street Date, and then self-grading their cards to try to sell.
Yeah.
And not just that, we were in good faith. I was there as a consultant. The founders were there for trading purposes, and they were like, "Oh, everything's gonna be fine." And then immediately they sacked the whole department and fired everybody after the founders of PCG from New Zealand, Matt and Rob, and myself were trying to cultivate and build and stabilize their team. And of course, after that, they were like, "Well, look, there's so much money on whatnot. I don't care about my contracts with PCG. I don't care about the opportunities with BGS or PSA. Let me just do box breaks. I'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month." So guess what happened? Fucking serves you right. Your revenues are going down to zero. If you or any of your fucking grifter goons ever come back in this TCG community, we will be watching. I am waiting. I am patient. I've been waiting for years to see John Sasso, Machi Scanlon, and his bunch of fucking cunts just go to zero. I will sit here and be patient and watch over the graves of their fallen businesses. And if they ever reincorporate, oh my God, I will be here to make sure if there is ever a move in the capital markets, I will do my very best to stop it. And not only that, I want, as a tip to the TCG community, anybody, because of the implosion, nearly everybody was laid off in Card Shop Live. That's the main story. Everybody was laid off. Although Card Shop Live's physical address is in Las Vegas, if my records serve me correctly, the actual entity owned by Card Shop Live, the parent entity, is called Superstars of Sports. Because you know what? Before John Sasso and his goons became a bunch of grifter cunts, John Sasso's father, Sasso Sr., actually ran a reputable sports card company in California, I think in the Bay Area by San Francisco, and he passed on that business. So Superstars of Sports, I believe, is still registered in California. So any employee of the former Card Shop Live, please file unemployment, go and mine the pool of unemployment insurance from Card Shop Live. Please go file EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Corporation, or Commission EEOC complaints in the state of California and in Las Vegas if you can. And just do your very best, because if you're laid off, these people never appreciated you. If you're part of the 20, 30, 40 people in the former Card Shop Live, go get yours. This is one of those moments where you can make a difference and the bad people can be made to pay for their lack of respect, lack of loyalty, lack of support for you as an employee. So viewers, if you know anybody that worked at Channel Fireball or Card Shop Live, go give them that information. The parent company is Superstars of Sports. Again, I believe it is centralized in California, where there are many liberal laws. This is one of those cases. I was complaining about it for my subsidiary in California, but I'm actually spending millions of dollars to help the community.
Yeah.
These are people that grifted and lied again and again to the crypto community and the TCG community and the box break community for years. So fuck them and get yours. Let's move on.
Some powerful words. Yeah, let's talk about PCG opened up a new office in Europe.
Yep.
In Germany. I think they did their first round of submissions at the Birmingham Calling.
Oh yeah? Oh damn, PCG. I actually got a gift here from Heiner. I didn't actually know when I was gonna do it, but I guess I'll open it because you mentioned PCG Europe. Because this was a conversation that started in Lille.
Yes.
And Heiner, the head of the owner of White Rabbit Games, the White Rabbit LGS, White Rabbit Game Store, I believe it's called.
I think it's White Rabbit Community Game
Yeah,
Store.
Community Game Store. He wrote me something. So, you know what? This might be a slightly lengthier episode of Fabled Hunters. Let me read it. It's August 16th, 2023. Hey, Saint. Seems like a moment and an eternity at the same time since we met first in Lille. Here's some more of the gingerbread from Andres, a little bit, or maybe Austria, a little bit of a different type this time. I hope your new diet allows for it. If not, your wife and daughter will certainly enjoy your share. Smiley face, that's really cute. He made a little smiley face there. Having Rob and Matt over here to get the PCG business started would never have happened without our box opening in Lille, probably. For whatever happens, you and Fluke will always be a part of its beginning. Thank you. Glad to hear your health is improving. Stay the course. You are still too young for serious health issues, my friend. Hope to meet you again at Worlds. Take care, Heiner. P.S. Good luck with the boosters. He even left us a couple of history pack boosters. I won't be greedy. Yanji, you can do two, and I'll do one.
We're opening these now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
And then he gave some gingerbread. I think this is Austrian or German gingerbread.
Yeah.
We'll do the packs
out
out of respect for Heiner, because he wanted to do some packs.
So these are the new history pack 2 that has, I think, Monarch and Aria.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a Vexing Quillhat.
Vexing Quillhat, is that it? That's a nice Majestic, right?
Yeah.
And a Churn Timber. Okay, I'll do the next pack. This is some Assassin card. This is some Electricity card. This is Steadfast, I think. This is something Wild Ride. This is some Teklo, pound somebody in the butt. Yep. This is some Angel, Protection something. Time Skippers, I know Time Skippers. Did I get a Majestic?
Yeah.
I did. This is
Dissolution Sphere.
Dissolution Sphere. I do not know these cards anymore. And this is Frostfang or something like that from Tales of Aria.
All right, that's back.
Okay, last pack Magic. Let's see. Demigon. Oh, Electrify, right?
Lightning Surge.
Some Angel.
Wax.
Ooh, Prism. Is this special Prism?
No, I don't think so.
That's a lightning
I think
charge,
it's
lightning
regular
strike,
Prism
something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We got two Majestics. Thanking so much, Heiner. Just did a little impromptu opening, so we did open some stuff.
But yeah, I wish PCG, after the whole PCG US debacle, I'm wishing them well in their future business endeavors. I still think since our episode where we had like the Weiss, like the Weiss Black Label 10s.
Yeah,
Or
Gold label, gold label.
They're like prismatic or whatever you
Yep.
want to call them. I think that they have the best looking product in the game. So I'm wishing them well.
We won't delve deep into this, but
Yeah.
I was in Florida for a good part of a week in the month of August. I'm not allowed to disclose details about it because it's not for me to say.
Yeah.
But I was there, and I see nothing but good things on the horizon. For the viewers that felt when we had taken a shift and supported BGS that I was a traitor or I was a sellout, fuck y'all. There's no way in hell from a principled perspective, I was supporting Card Shop Live or John Sasso. So you got to understand, the graded cards got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But I've been loyal to PCG since day one. And whatever John Sasso and his crooks in Stephanie Place, Las Vegas were doing, that was not PCG. That was a grift, and I'm glad that that's over with.
So, moving on to Flesh and Blood news, I wanted to talk first about the round the table product that the professor and that the professor at Tulare Community College worked on with Legend Story Studios. So, Professor just released a video. We'll include a link to it.
Yep.
Where he talks about the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like it was a lengthy iterative process lasting over the course of an entire year to get, a multiplayer product out to his audience and also to the larger Flesh and Blood audience.
Yep. UPF, right? UPF style and some simple decks, and the Professor's one hero, and there's a new Guardian. There's Ira, and there's
Ira, and then there's a Bard.
Oh, there's a Bard, that's right.
Called Melody. I wanted to come at this from my perspective as a player, as somebody who goes to game stores, on how I think this product will perform.
Sure.
And maybe you can come at it from the more like business collector side. I think that any kind of new product designed to engage, a different sort of audience, it ultimately is a good thing for Flesh and Blood. I think that if you've been to your local LGS any time in the last, couple of years, then you know that the majority of people who go are not interested in, competing at the Pro Tour or Worlds. They're not
looking to be runaways.
They're not trying to grind their way to be the best. They want to have a fun place to hang out after a long day at work. They want to be able to go there, relax, have some fun games.
Yeah, chill and have a good time.
And one of the criticisms that I've had for Flesh and Blood, I think from the very beginning...
We've always talked about this.
Yeah.
It's too competitive.
And we've always talked about this, where you kept on asking me, especially towards the beginning, you're like, are you fully bought into Flesh and Blood yet? I was like, no, let's wait, because I think in order for Flesh and Blood to capture my full, endorsement, that it needed to have something ready for everybody.
Yep.
And even though I like Flesh and Blood a lot right now for, my part of the demographic, for like those super competitive players, I recognize that there wasn't a product yet out for them. And, I can't say because I don't play a lot of multiplayer myself.
Yep.
But looking at some of the cards that were designed, we had a good laugh. They finally printed Guardian boots that have 2 block with temper, but it gives your opponent a quicken token.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of, I think, elements that, Professor has done a lot of more like casual play types of contents, as well as he's more engaged with that segment of the community. And I have no doubt that there was a lot of thought and effort put into this product, and it looks really good from everything, from like the packaging, from what's included in the boxes, to the art that's included. And so I just hope, even though that this product is not for me, that I hope that it resonates well with a part of the player base that hasn't been given the attention that they needed for a long time.
Sure. So you're basically saying that this is a much needed product to engage a different audience, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I'd have to say that I'm on the same page, and I've always said, I've even told James face to face, I'm like, dude, I love the game. The engine is amazing, the mechanics are amazing, but you cannot base a game, in perpetuity just on the competitive market or the competitive space. That's not scalable. You want people that don't want to just bash each other's heads in and day out, ad infinitum.
Yeah.
And maybe they just want to have some fun and, play with each other, bullshit a little bit, just like a Commander game. And I think UPF, if set up the right way and introduced with a product like this one, should be rather interesting. I think that LSS knows exactly what they're doing. So there was a concern also on the Facebooks and the Reddits and the Discords. Oh, will these heroes be tournament legal? And I think they know better. I think they'll be like fun heroes or UPF heroes, more or less for UPF only. Kind of like, I think the first Bard was also UPF
Yeah.
only.
A lot of the cards that's also, like, for the most part, they seem more pushed towards this, like, multiplayer, either PvE or multiplayer PvP type of aspect.
I didn't know that the card list was out. I guess we've been too
So-
busy with other things.
Yeah, so I don't know if they printed the whole card list, but they had an article where they showed off.
Featured a couple, right?
They featured some cards.
Yep.
Yeah, the most notable that caught my eye was that they made Guardian Temper 2 boots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Guardian's been playing like Iron Rot boots for the longest time.
Yep.
And
With the Quicken token,
but it gives a
3
target
block
hero
boots.
Quicken token.
Yep.
I think that card could be pretty sick in PvE. You're like the tank, you like block a hit from the boss, and then you give your ally a Quicken token.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of avenues that they're exploring, and for all the people who are complaining about like cards being tournament legal, it's like I don't think that this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's
This
back.
is not gonna break the meta.
Yeah.
But from a collector's perspective, I mean, automatically, just like I did with Rhinar versus Dorinthia,
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna buy 3 just to have a potential playset, because who knows? They might hide the next glistening steel blade within this product, and presumably some of the cards will be playable, some of the cards will impact the meta. For example, there was a time, I think prior to, was Spellfray Cloak reprinted in Dynasty?
So it was first printed
In like the Levia decks, starter decks, or
Yeah.
like the Monarch decks,
and those
it was
cards were
playable.
actually pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. They were a couple $. So I think this is going to be just like that, and like Glistening Steel Blade. And I don't know if there are any cold foils. I honestly didn't look, but if there are cold foils, even if there are rainbow foils, even if there are heroes, there are new heroes. So I'm just gonna probably get 3, and I would encourage anybody that wants to have a product sitting there where you can potentially on-ramp friends, for game night or whatnot, just to buy the product, give it a shot, right?
Yeah.
And that will presumably bring more people, into the doors of the local game stores when Bright Lights comes out, and people are, walking into the game store spending like $10 or, 69 Canadian dollars, and basically cracking 3 packs and playing some Flesh and Blood without any instructions necessary.
Moving on, August is a big month for tournaments. There's been a lot of battle hardens going on in the lead up into national season. Yes, I won a Blitz battle harden. I think maybe the only Blitz battle harden.
Vincent?
Yeah, with Vincent.
Get some LL points for Vincent, right?
Yeah, I got pretty lucky. And then there were a lot of other like CC battle hardens. I think there was also one in Hong Kong in the lead up into nationals in general. Leading into, I wanted to talk about U.S. Nationals.
Yep.
Because wow, what a weekend it was.
Well, it was an amazing weekend, and I mean, did we get to top 8 day 1? We did, right?
No. So
it was day 2.
It was a 3-day event.
Okay.
So
yeah.
it started for U.S. Nationals. It was the largest nationals by far. I want to say that the final count was around 560 entrants. That's easily at least like 5 to 6 times the size of like the next largest.
Yep, the largest nationals in the world was in the U.S.
And I heard that Team Runaways did pretty well.
Oh, you heard? Yeah. Mr. Captain, co-founder, founder of the Runaways,
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'd say we did well. Like, we hit 4 out of the top 8 slots, so 50% of the slots in the top 8.
Yeah.
It was literally Runaways on Runaways brutality. And not only that, I think we had 14 members out of 560.
Yeah.
And out of 14 members, 4 made the top 8, and some even made like top 16 and top 32.
Yep.
Right? They had really strong placement, and we had Dr. Dan Jr., Dan Rutkowski in 8th place, right? 8th seed. We had Pheno Black, Mr. 2 Counter Tunic, in 4th place on Dromai. Yeah. Dr. Dan was on Icelander, right?
Yeah, Dan was on Icelander.
And then we had Lucas Oswald, Young Buck, also on Icelander in 3rd seed.
Yeah.
And we had the dark horse, Charles Dunn, with his Briar Control, they called him a cosplay Oldham in the 1st seed.
Oldham in disguise.
Yes, that was such an amazing event. And I just have to say, I was there with you guys for I was there for Nationals, but I was there in Baltimore. And I don't know what it was in Baltimore. I think the Runaways in general were way more confident, perhaps a little too confident going into Baltimore, but they had licked their wounds, and they had a different aura. They had a different swagger walking into U.S. Nationals. They had a purpose. They did their homework. They didn't boast. I mean, no offense, but you guys walk into Baltimore like, oh, we have the best possible deck in the house. And I've heard it. It's not just you guys. A lot of teams, you know, in their little boot camps and one, oh, we've got the best deck in the building. We're going to take this down. Just like in my poker days. Oh, we've got the best game. We're going to take everybody's money. Yeah. But this time, I didn't hear any of that. It's like, we all know what we're going to play. We all have our own roles on lockdown. Yeah. And we're going to play the crap out of our flesh and blood decks.
Yeah, I think we're going to do...
we already have some content.
Yeah, we're going to do some more videos on this. You have some interviews.
Yep.
But, yeah, I want to give a lot of shout-outs to the team.
Absolutely.
For, you know, putting up with some of the crap that we had to do during the preparation process, but also, you know, having a great mentality towards the competition. And bonus, so we had 2 members who were not from the U.S. One guy, Sean, who originally was living in the U.S., moved to New Zealand. Okay. I think he made cash at his nationals.
Wait, we didn't even finish talking about the U.S. yet.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
We didn't even get there. Well, the most important part.
I wanted to first set the scene for all of the members.
Fair. That's fair. Okay, I apologize. Sorry, Captain. You go ahead and talk about your team.
Want to mention everyone on the team before we dive into it.
Okay.
Sean, who cashed at New Zealand Nationals, and then also Gordon Coe, who, as far as I know, is one.
Gordon Coe, let's fucking go. Gordon Coe, let's fucking go. I was there cheering up until 6 a.m. like this morning, filming this video. I was watching them since 2 a.m. to literally 6 a.m. and I was so hyped. I was even in the Discords typing until 7 a.m. It was ridiculous. He took it down. He's the GOAT of Singapore.
Yeah, I might have fallen asleep, but he back-to-back
nationals in Singapore. Yeah, Gordon Coe, let's fucking go.
They're very impressive.
Yes, so not only did we take... Yes. The team just locked it down. There was humility. There was confidence. It was like an inner confidence, and there was swagger. Everybody came prepared. Everybody played hard, and ultimately, you know, in the top 8, I mean, I hated to see Dan Rutkowski go down to, you know, he went down fighting and swinging with Icelander to Charles. I think Lucas took out somebody in the first round. Yep. Fino, some brutality happened with Fino. I don't want to talk about it. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, but also the guy who beat Fino is also a local.
Yep, a friend of the Runaways.
Yeah, New Jersey local Craig. Yep, OG Magic competitor as well as commentator for Star City Games.
Yeah, we had dinner. We invited Craig over for dinner, and then Lucas fell to young buck Evan. Right? Yeah, in the semifinals, although a very impressive player. He's part of the card guys, I think.
Yeah, I think he plays with the card guys.
Okay. And then finally, the finals were Evan and Charles Dunn, the dark horse, with a new, never before seen take on Briar. Yeah. And Charles, I mean, I respect Evan's game, but Charles, in my opinion, by about the maybe the 6th or 7th round, after I saw 2 3-of-a-kinds and I think 2nd or 3rd rain razors. Yeah. I think Evan just exhausted all of his resources.
Yeah, Charles was still at 20 or something.
Yeah, and then two-thirds or more of all the power cards that Evan had in the finals were he was sputtering, and at that point I kind of felt it. I was like, are we about to win nationals? Are the Runaways about to win nationals? And then Charles just, you know, held a masterclass in control and fatigue, and ultimately took it down, and is now the U.S. Nationals champion. Let's go, Runaways!
And Briar, with that, is gone. Yep. Although I heard that Briar also won another Nationals.
That's not important.
Not important.
The big Nationals, the U.S. Nationals. Yeah. America! We took it down. So the Runaways are national champions. Yeah. Times 2, because we got U.S. and we got Singapore.
Yeah, I wanted to give a special shout out to Canada, the country, for repeating their dominance of the calling that's held at U.S. Nationals.
Okay.
Yuki Lee Bender winning the calling.
Congrats,
on,
Yuki.
on Lexi. So I want to congratulate all of the Nationals winners as the events are ongoing. What a month of tournaments.
Yes, crazy month of different happenings in TCGs. I'm just super stoked that I could be a source of support for the FaBled Runaways.
Mm-hmm.
I still need my team sweater, bro, but that's a different topic. We'll talk about that offline. And it's just great.
Well, it's the summertime, so it's not sweater season.
I'll need the sweater by winter time.
Yeah.
Next batch.
Yeah,
Next batch.
We got it.
Marketing sponsor, fam. Marketing sponsor. Come on now. So, yeah, I just was. I felt that it was such a delight and such a great experience watching a team of bros just down in the dumps, the highs and lows, down in the dumps in the Pro Tour Baltimore. I mean, let's be real. You guys were not happy campers.
No.
And that car ride back to New Jersey was kind of awkward and kind of sad. But I think that experience was what was necessary for you guys to really hone in and stay focused and realize the amount of grit and the amount of preparation and the mindset that was necessary to finally take down. I mean, that was an overwhelming fashion. I'm not trying to toot your team or our team's horn, but 4 out of 8. Like, I played professional poker, and for like 2 out of the 2 members out of a final table of 9 or 10 to enter, if you were from Poker Stars or Full Tilt or Party Poker or like 888, like that's already a big deal. But imagine like half of the final table being runaways. That happened, and I'm just so excited to see what happens in
Hopefully
Barcelona.
Repeat it at Worlds.
But let's keep a low profile.
Yeah.
Let's just keep grinding.
Yeah.
Let's I just I'm just a fan that lives vicariously, because I couldn't do the whole Pro Tour circuit back in high school in the Magic the Gathering days, but I'm kind of like reliving my childhood through you guys, or reliving my adolescence through you guys, and I couldn't be a happier source of marketing and moral support for the Runaways. So let's go Runaways.
Small plug for the long game. I think we're going to talk about.
Oh, that's right.
We're going to talk about kind of using like the experience of this tournament to extrapolate out like how you can create successes. So if you're interested.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sign up, support Yanji and the FaBled Runaways further by supporting the FaBled Hunters Patreon. None of the funds go to me, just all to Yanji and the Runaways. And keep supporting now the U.S. National Champs. USA, USA, USA. All right, guys. Is there anything else? I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah, there might have been other things, but none that will make it onto this episode. So thank you guys so much for watching.
Thanks for your support. Keep watching the FaBled Runaways and keep on tuning in to FaBled Hunters. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, twiddle that notification button, and we'll see you next time. Bye! Congratulations, national champion.